Shaq,
How's it going, man?
Chill, hey.
So listen,
Yep.
Lakers just signed Dwight Howard. How do you feel about that?
Who?
Dwight Howard. You don't know?
Papa John block party, brother.
Yeah, okay.
Feeding the kids for free, hanging out.
Feeding the kids for free.
Yeah, I'm not a basketball
So
player.
Shaq.
I'm a community guy.
Okay. So let me ask you, like, you remember your first time you ever had pizza?
How you doing, man?
Yep.
You getting pulled out yet?
Yeah.
Baton Rouge?
Baton Rouge, Papa John's.
Yeah?
What it do, YouTube? Your boy Theflightmike with our third video of today. So I'm gonna keep the intro very short. All I'm gonna do is shout out my NBA 2K20 giveaway. If you want a chance to win NBA 2K20 on any console, I'm running giveaways on both my Twitter and my Instagram page. It's gonna be in the description down below or all the way in the comment section in the pinned comment. Now, if you watched my first video of today, you would know that Kobe and Shaq kind of made us reminisce a little bit because, well, they started pointing fingers at each other in a very jestful way, might I add, about why they didn't win championships. Well, Kobe said if Shaq worked out way more and had a better work ethic, he would have 12 championships. And Shaq said if Kobe passed the ball more, then, you know, we would have won against the Detroit Pistons in the 2004 NBA Finals. And no one's even mentioning the fact that they were not successful in the 2003 season because they lost at the hands of the San Antonio Spurs. So anyways, if you go in, you could see Shaq goes ahead. After I made this video, the last thing I covered was the fact that Kobe Bryant tweeted that there is no beef with Shaq. And I know most media would want to see beef with Shaq, but it ain't gonna happen. Ain't nothing but love there, and we too old to beef anyways. Shaq went ahead and decided to tweet, "It's all good, bro. When I saw the interview, I thought you were talking about Dwight. Is that how you spell his name? LOL." Misspelling Dwight's name completely. Dwight Howard recently signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, I'm sure you know, and Dwight and Shaq have a little bit of a beef where I guess Dwight Howard really rubbed Shaq off the wrong way because he took over the Superman moniker when Dwight was in his prime, and Shaq really didn't like that because Shaq was the original Superman. Now, as a result, we all know Shaq kind of is a fun-loving guy, but Shaq has quite an ego, and I'm sure we all know this. So this is the funniest part of all of this entire situation. My man Shaq got Kobe Bryant to quote his tweet and say, bruh, because it's like, where did this even come from? Why were we talking about Dwight Howard? But it kind of makes sense because yesterday, Shaq was at the Baton Rouge, restaurant. I forgot which restaurant, if I'm being exact. There's a video of it right here, and to promote something, and they asked him about Dwight Howard, and the entire time Shaq was acting like, Dwight who? Who's Dwight? And we were just assuming that he just didn't want any cameras on him, and Shaq was just ignoring the press at the time. But what was actually happening is he's acting like Dwight Howard is an absolute nobody. And, you know, I know that a lot of Laker fans don't like Dwight, and of course, myself included, I'm not his biggest fan either, especially after he did what he did to Kobe Bryant. And we all also know that Dwight is a very sensitive guy, and he kind of has an ego, but his ego has been shattered by the lack of success in the NBA recently. So Dwight Howard took to Instagram Live and actually addressed Shaq, dissing him. And well, I'm gonna let you guys take a look.
You out of here. Show y'all the whip. Did I see what Shaq said? No, I really didn't see what Shaq said. It's okay. I'm not here to talk about Shaq. What he said, what he did, it's irrelevant to what I'm trying to do. So, don't talk to me about what anybody got said about me. My focus is on one thing.
So you could see that Dwight Howard is just brushing off and shrugging off what Shaq said about him. And honestly, I don't really blame him because, and kudos to him, because he got me, someone that disliked him in the past, to feel empathetic towards him. And At some point, I'm gonna admit, Shaq does come off as a little bit of a bully. He has bullied other NBA players in the past, such as JaVale McGee. I'll leave a video to that. I'll leave a link to that video in the description down below. As much as I love Shaq, love his personality, even love his music, man. I would kill to go to a Shaq EDM concert, but he does have a tendency to unfortunately bully some players in the league as a way to kind of flex how much of a legend he is, and that's to his own right. Dwight will go on to, of course, show off the fact that he is really working, gets in the gym, and begins to work on his game. I really am beginning to have more and more faith in Dwight Howard because it really seems like he's taking his situation seriously. He understands that this could be his final shot in the NBA. He understands that this is the end of the line for him, and if he wants to retire with a championship, he needs to go all out, bro. So I really have respect for the way he's handling this situation. I'm treating this Dwight Howard as a completely different Dwight Howard. In my last video, I mentioned the fact that Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal were very immature in the way they handled their relationship in their primes. The fact that they both had such huge egos that they couldn't get along together, which resulted in the Lakers trading Shaq and them not getting along. And 10 years later, when they look back upon it, they even say, hey, we had such big egos. We should have been more mature about the way we handled our relationship. We could have potentially had more championships if we did, which is ironic because at the same time, they were bickering about the same things back then. They were bickering about Shaq not really having as much of a work ethic and Kobe not passing the ball as much. And 10 years later, they're still kind of throwing playful shade at each other. So you would think that they kind of learned that they should be more mature about the situation, but I feel like the same issues would exist if they were in the same exact situation as they were older. But Dwight, on the other hand, I feel like has learned from his mistakes. I feel like there's a sense of humility in Dwight Howard based off of the way he was treated, based off of the way his career has gone since leaving Los Angeles. He's no longer that star player, and he knows that. He knows that he could be disposed at any point. Look at his contract. It's a non-guaranteed contract, ladies and gentlemen. So at the end of the day, what really matters about this situation is the way Dwight Howard is going to respond to the way Laker legends are treating him. He had both Kobe and Shaq disrespect him and clown him, but that's kind of justified. If you are in Kobe Bryant's shoes, this guy pretty much dragged you and drained you, and potentially, if you're really that vindictive, you could even make an argument saying that Dwight Howard resulted in Kobe Bryant tearing his Achilles. Remember, Kobe Bryant played 48 minutes a game during Dwight's season in order to potentially appease Dwight Howard to the point of convincing him to stay with the Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe Bryant, not to sound like some sort of, overly dramatic ex-girlfriend, for lack of a better term, Kobe Bryant gave Dwight Howard his best year. And it resulted in him tearing his Achilles. So I don't really blame Kobe for potentially still resenting Dwight Howard, but at the same time, it has to be kind of validating if you're Shaq and if you're Kobe, because if you're Shaquille O'Neal, you're thinking to yourself, this guy came after my nickname, he came after my moniker, Superman is me. But also in Dwight's defense, Shaq, bro, you have like 50 nicknames, man. The Big Aristotle, the Big Cactus, the Shaqtus, like Diesel, DJ Diesel. Shaq in itself is a nickname, but that's just a shortened name for you. But at the end of the day, Kobe and Shaq have a reason to dislike Dwight Howard, but they shouldn't really bully him because they should be validated based off of the way Dwight Howard's career turned out. Dwight Howard could have been one of the greatest centers in NBA history, or at least in the conversation of one of the greatest centers in NBA history, and that didn't happen. The fact that they're still kicking him as he's down is kind of unfortunate in my opinion, but again, I just played devil's advocate like 3 times for both sides, so I would really like to hear where you guys side on this. Do you think Kobe and Shaq are being bullies? Do you think Kobe and Shaq have a right to be so mean to Dwight Howard? I would really like to hear what you guys have to say. you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and drop a like to never miss out on any NBA news. I'm your boy, The Flight Mike, and I'll catch you guys next time.